In this video, we're going to be looking at some resources that Zondervan has come out with that are based on the NIV Application Commentary. Now, this application commentary is actually a set of commentaries, and they have been starting to produce these, I think, since the mid-90s, and it's taken a long time for the set to be completed. The set is completed, and they're reissuing the commentaries with new cover designs, kind of a facelift, they call it. But they have some materials that are based on the commentary series. They have the Commentary on the Bible 1 volume edition, based on the notes from the commentaries. And then they also have this new NIV Application Bible. So these are new resources that are available based on the NIV Application Commentary. Something I need to point out, because I know people are going to be confused, especially with the Bible. This is called the NIV Application Commentary. The Bible based on this is the NIV Application Bible. It's different than the Life Application Bible, which is produced by Tyndale. This is not the Life Application Bible, it's the NIV Application Bible. They have a very similar title to them, but they are different Bibles with different notes. Tyndale produces the Life Application Study Bible, and this one is produced by Zondervan. So I wanted to point that out. That's very important because I think a lot of people are going to be confused about that. So we'll look at all of these in detail. Let me just start with this commentary here. So as I said, really this is something that's been out for some time. They started producing these, as I said, in the mid-90s, and if you look at the copyright on this particular volume, the copyright is 1995. So this is a facelift of this original edition, of the original editions, which looked like this. So this is an older edition that I have. The print on the inside, I think, has been changed a little bit. The font might be a little bit different. But essentially, you really have the same volumes, just a newer look to the cover and the interior design. What's unique about these, and you'll see with all of the materials, they kind of take this approach that they're trying to get the original concepts, the context of the original writings of the Bible, and then also apply them to our context. So in the commentary series, which I do highly recommend, it's one of the commentaries I use for sermon preparation, they have a original meaning section. So when you're going through a passage of Scripture, you get the original meaning, and then they also have a section called Bridging Contexts, so that you can start to see how that original meaning bridges over to the world in which we live. And then finally, they have Contemporary Significance, where they really get into applications for our current setting. So that's why it's the NIV application. It's based on the NIV translation, the commentary is, but they're applying the exegesis, the things that you're studying, to today's setting. All of the volumes do have an introduction to the book of the Bible that you're studying. So you get a lot. This is very detailed information. I wouldn't say it's a highly technical commentary, but it is detailed. A lot of great insights and information, not overly technical, but still very helpful for pastors and lay people. They do give you an outline to the book. So it's important to know this is what everything we're looking at is based on. So when we look at the NIV Application Commentary 1 volume edition, what they're really doing is they're taking a whole set of commentaries. This is Philippians, and they have, the whole Bible, all the different volumes, and they're condensing it into one volume. They're abridging all of this information down into one volume. So yes, this is highly condensed, and yet it is based on the information that you would get in the commentaries. So maybe you're a pastor who just wants to have something for reference, just to kind of boil everything down more simply. At times you want to have that easily accessible, or you're a lay person and you don't need or can't afford or don't want to buy the entire commentary set. This is really useful. So you do get an abridged introduction to the book. These introductions are very detailed. This is just going to be, as you see here, a couple paragraphs in this instance, a condensed outline. I don't think the outlines in here are going to be as thorough as these. They're based, though, on the outlines you see in the commentaries. And then you have an original meaning for Isaiah 1 through 9, and then an application. So again, all of these notes are going to be based on what you read in these volumes, just much more condensed and distilled into some of the main points. Almost like a study Bible, if you will, without the Bible part, which gives you more room for notes. So there's still very extensive notes here. Now, if you want kind of a study Bible edition of this, they now have that in the form of the NIV Application Bible. So this is a study Bible, essentially, that is based on the Commentary Series. So I'll show you the one that they sent me. It comes in a box. It's a 2-piece box. And this one retails for $84.99. Whenever I say that, you can usually get those cheaper than the retail price online. They do have different cover options available. The one that they sent me is the brown leather soft. And so let's take a look at it. Here's the Bible. It has a really nice leather soft cover, which means it's an imitation leather, but it imitates leather very nicely. It looks really beautiful, and I like the design that they have on the front here, that ornate design. Nice stamping on the spine. So again, people are going to be confused because it sounds like the Life Application Study Bible. It's different. This is the NIV Application Bible. So I'm reiterating that just so people know the difference. I do have a review of the Life Application Study Bible if you want to check out reviews of that. This Bible also, Leather Soft Edition, has 2 ribbons. They do have some other cover options available. The ribbons on this one are brown and gold, angle cut. They're narrower ribbons, I would say, but really fit, I would say, lengthwise, and they're sufficient for what this, what a typical Bible study will have. It's not necessarily trying to be, the high-end kind of a Bible. So you do have some basic ribbons. You have gold gilt on the page edges. No art gilt under the gold, I don't think. I could be wrong on that. Yeah, it does have a gold look to it. I don't think there's any art gilt. If I'm wrong, someone can correct me. And then when you get into this Bible, this is a paper paste down liner. You have a presentation page. And the paper in this is kind of common in certain study Bibles. It's almost like a magazine type paper, very similar to that. Coated paper, has a coating on it. So you have some title pages there. And then you see here, the copyright on this says 2025. It's the first printing in 2025, printed in China. You have your contents page. And you do have a preface to the NIV Application Bible. And of course, you're going to have an introduction as well to the NIV itself. I know I'm going through this really quickly. They do have an app as well. Old Testament chronology. So you have a nice timeline of all of the history of the Old Testament. And then you've got your Old Testament title page. Book of Genesis. And this tells you the author, the audience, the date, the theme. You have a perspective introduction. And then kind of an overview and reading Genesis on the column here, side column. Key verse. And here's kind of a timeline of things that are in the book of Genesis. So some really just helpful introductory material, what to look for in Genesis. So you're going to get that at the beginning of each book of the Bible. And then the notes themselves are going to be based on the Application Commentary Series. But like a study Bible, you're going to have all those study Bible helps as well, maps, charts, things like that. It also has cross references in the center column. The font in this looks like their comfort print for the NIV. The size of the font, I'll put that up on the screen. It looks like a decent size, especially for a study Bible. Very readable for the biblical text. And the notes actually are quite easy to read. Now, it is a study Bible, so it's not the largest print for the notes. But if anything, study Bibles have gotten easier and easier to read compared to, years and years ago. The printing techniques today are really, really helpful. So really nicely done. You can just see color on the page here. So what you're getting for the price is really an excellent study Bible. And again, not only are there good notes based on the Application Commentary Series that help you understand the text itself, but it's really geared toward applying the text to your life. And of course, as you're looking at this, you see the formatting here, paragraph format, typical for the NIV. And you are going to have poetic setting. So we'll go to Psalms. Look at the poetry there. So really nice. And as we get into the New Testament, we'll take a look at some of the New Testament here. Yeah, usually between the Old and New Testament, you'll have extra material. So you do have a New Testament chronology. After Malachi, the Old Testament, you have the New Testament title page, New Testament chronology, and then you have messianic prophecies fulfilled. So here's a chart telling you how Jesus fulfills prophecies of the Old Testament. Then you get into your introduction in the book of Matthew. And looking at the words of Christ, you'll see that the words of Christ are in a red letter text. And the red letter is not, it's not a deep red, it's not dark, but it is very nicely printed. And I don't think it's going to be too straining on people's eyes. It is a little bit of a brighter red, I'll be honest. So some people might not like that. But it looks to me, as I'm looking at it here, like it is consistently printed. And it's not a faded or washed out red. It's just a little bit on the bright side, perhaps. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. Now, I've seen this in other NIV Bibles, the breakdown of the Jewish sects. So this is really cool because they're really combining a lot of the materials that they've compiled with their different study helps in their commentary series and other Bibles, and they're just putting it together in one volume. Really great to see how they've done this. Zondervan did a great job with this. I like how you have like a picture here, a temple from Corinth, just to give you a little bit of a visual at the beginning of the book here. And just great information. So I just from what I've seen of this and what I know about the Application Commentary Series, I think this Bible is going to be really useful to people. I'm glad that they have made this available. As we get to the end of the Bible here, we'll just quickly see what we have in the back here. So you have a table of weights and measures, feature indexes, and then your contributors. Oh, and the charts. Okay, so they're showing you everything. If you want to just find all of the features in the Bible, that's all there. And then you have your contributors to the Bible. Chart your course reading plans. So this is going to help you. And I like this. They have some unique reading plans. 52 weeks on the character of God. 2 weeks on the life and teachings of Paul. 2 weeks on the Old Testament. So just really helping people to dig into Scripture and just find different ways to engage with Scripture. This will really help people to maybe break the monotony. If you are someone who's studied the Bible a lot, this might give you some fresh ways to read through Scripture. But you do have your Through the Bible in a Year reading plan. And I like how they have the check boxes, so you can actually check those off as you go along. Or you could copy these pages and just check them off on your copy sheet. So that's Through the Bible in a Year. And then you have an NIV Dictionary Concordance. So giving you some definitions of words and where to find those words in certain passages of the Bible. It's not exhaustive. It doesn't show you every place the word is found, but it will give you some examples of where to find that word, that subject. And then you have the Zondervan maps at the very end here. Nice color printing of those. And I think people generally really like these maps. They're very useful, really nicely printed. So they include these in a lot of their Bibles, and they're really well done. And then the end sheet. So that's a look at the NIV Application Bible, different than the Life Application Study Bible. I'm going to keep saying that. But this is certainly something that I think, again, it's not overly technical when you're looking at the information, but it is good contextual information about the biblical text. It will give you the kind of the context that the writers are writing in, help you understand the original writing, but then apply it to today. So you see that with the Bible here, a study Bible version, as well as a 1-volume NIV Application Commentary on the Bible, 1-volume edition, and the set now with a facelift, new covers, new printing inside. This is great. So if you have any questions, I'd love to see those in the comment section, comments that you have. Let me know what you think. But thank you so much for taking a look at these resources with me from a Frisch perspective.